So what do you call yourself? Welcome to the LaTangela Show. Hey.
Hey, what can I do for you this fine day?
This is your destiny. Hot, hot, hot. Right now.
Welcome to the LaTangela Show.
Kick it.
Come on in and enjoy yourself.
Right now.
We gon' party like no one else. Welcome to the LaTangela Show.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of the LaTangela Show podcast. You know, it does my heart well to have this time together. And as we are exiting one chapter and entering a new chapter, dear life is out here lifing. And I needed to get my people with me, none other than Chief Morse of the BRPD. How are you?
I'm doing great. Just had a good Christmas. Looking forward to New Year's.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Anytime. You know, this is an extension of your office. A lot is going on and so much comes across your desk. And chances are by the time we get to hear it from you, it's on a news report. You're either defending a story, searching for help with a story, but we don't get to hear the day in and day out of what comes across your desk and how we as a whole can help be a cure for a lot of things that's going on. Tell me a little bit about the position as chief of BRPD.
The way you put it right there, LaTangela, and really kind of hits the nail on the head. Because my view, the role as police as kind of the cleanup. Right?
Yeah.
We need the community and we need the resources on the front end so that the police don't even have to deal with the person on the back end.
Right.
If we had more of that on the front end, then maybe we can better address the crime issues so that we don't have to try to just arrest our way out of all these issues.
Right. And when it comes down to the community being a resource, what does that look like for you?
Yeah, so I think it encompasses a lot. Just right now, this newer generation, what we're seeing is the victims and the suspects getting younger and younger and younger. I've shared with you before just our juvenile stats for homicides. So last year we arrested 9 juveniles. That's 17 and younger last year because they was the new age law last year, 17 and younger.
Wow.
9 arrested for homicide. That's actually killing somebody.
Oh my.
That's not shooting at somebody, whatever, but actually killing somebody. This year, 16.
Oh, wow.
16 juveniles. And this year, it's now 16 and younger. So we went younger in the age, 16 and younger this year for juveniles, but we actually went up in how many juveniles we've arrested for committing homicides.
And, you know, we can talk about the laws of it, but if you get past the law of it and just get more to the core as of what is triggering a 17-year-old, a 16-year-old, a 9-year-old to go out or even get access to a lot of these guns. It's just so many different elements that's taking place here. Like, how do we get here? What are some of the things that we can do on the front end to help prevent these babies, because that's what they are, they're babies, from committing these crimes that you can't come back from?
Yeah, I think it's a big issue, one it takes a lot of talking about, and we could probably spend the next hour talking about all the issues, but everything from school, right? We have a really big truancy rate in East Baton Rouge Parish.
Yeah.
So finding a way to keep the kids in school, keeping them engaged. There's a big study that shows the ability to read by 3rd grade, to how that makes you look going down a life of crime for the rest of your life. So school's a big issue. Courts and judges and bail is one thing that I kind of like to talk about and big on, because I mean, there's specific incidents where we arrest somebody for homicide or attempted homicide, and a couple of days later they're out on the streets.
Oh, wow.
Everybody on the streets
Wow.
knows, hey, he just killed somebody and nothing happened to him. So now what does that teach that 13, 14-year-old? Nothing gonna happen to me if I pick up a gun and shoot at somebody, because I know that he did it. So why can't I do it?
That's big.
So there's a lot of these kind of conversations that we can have. Bigger things, lack of resources, lack of jobs, because going back to the schools and just, lack of respect for the family element, for teachers, for church, and then that kind of carries over to lack of respect for law enforcement as well.
Right. And when you start talking about that revolving door, it is a vicious cycle. Whenever they see it, and then this no snitch policy, it gets worse and worse by the day. And it's almost like there is no safety realm. You'll see stories coming out and it's just like, my, it gets even worse. And someone knows who did it. Someone knows where they are. Someone is helping to keep them safe, fed with gas money, and out of sight, out of mind. instead of saying, you know what, hey man, that was real foul, and I need you to either turn yourself in or I have to do this for you.
Yeah, and if you know somebody that's going down that path and you see us put out those wanted posters, remember you can call Crime Stoppers and get that money.
Yeah.
And nobody has to know that you're the one that turned them in, because there has to be a time where we say enough is enough. You know,
What does that look like?
When we have an 8-year-old that is accidentally killed because we got some gang on gang violence, and he gets caught in the middle of it.
Yeah.
You know, and we still have one of those suspects outstanding. Somebody knows where that person is.
Absolutely. And when you start talking about 8-year-old babies that are shot and killed the day before Thanksgiving, that's the family circle that's broken, but now midlife for this child is the age of 4. We don't even allow our babies enough time to grow, to be the person, a little human, man. Like, what are we doing? There's no regard for life. And if we're not the ones saying enough is enough at this point, what is enough?
Right.
What does it look like?
Right. And we can't just pass the buck and say, oh, we're going to let this group take care of it. We're going to let the police take care of it. We're going to let the courts take care of it. We're going to let this community organization take care of it.
Or even let the streets take care of it.
Yeah,
you know, like there has to be a stop on that too, because when you start seeing all this retaliation, a lot of people are getting caught up in a lot of street gang violence. Everybody has a gun. Nobody's running out of bullets. Everybody has the intent to kill. Because if you're packing the gun, you have the intent to say, look, if I got to use it, it's do or die at some point.
Yeah.
And it's tough when you see all of these hurting families and people not doing their part, whatever that looks like. If you know that your child has a gun in the house, if you know that your child was on a scene where there was a shooting and you're not saying anything, you're not saving your child, you're setting your child up for failure down the road. They very well may come to your doorstep next. You don't know. Which
we're seeing a big thing of is these drive-bys and houses getting targeted, and the people don't care who's inside that house. And it's crazy. You know, they put these switches on the guns to make them fully automatic, and they have no control over where those 30 rounds go into that house or who it may hit.
You see a lot coming across your desk and in the community while you're doing these town halls and even the segments of Ask the Chief. How young is too young to start talking to children about wrong and right decisions?
Oh, I mean, the earlier the better. You know, we were focusing a lot on high school and then junior high, but I think middle school is the place to start having those conversations. Those 9-10-year-olds, you know, we're seeing 12-year-olds committing vehicle burglaries to steal guns and then giving those guns to older kids and stuff, because just that glorification of, hey, I want to be a part of this group, or, you know, I want to be a part of I see what you're posting on social media and I want to be a part of that. I want to do that hashtag for that gang. And so they're wanting to be part of that group and identify with them. And so they're out there committing crime. So the earlier we have those conversations, like I said, 9-10-year-olds, the better. And
you work with all of the entities across the state of Louisiana. Do you think that there's a spike in gang-related activities, or is this just some unorganized crime that's going on with a bunch of kids?
Yeah, so we kind of use those terms, gang, group, kind of interchangeably, because a lot of it is kind of unorganized, where there's not just one shot caller kind of thing like you would have in a structured gang. But it's people that kind of, hey, I want to be part of this group, and we all have the same hashtag on Instagram, or we're all from the same neighborhood, so we identify together, and so we just gang, and they're not part of our group, so let's target them. Let's shoot at them. And now they're going to shoot back at us. And so let's shoot back at them. And it's kind of a nationwide and especially the state. Yeah. Social media has played a big role when you start talking about the glorification of the crimes, or even of being a part of. Do you ever think that the kids in hindsight say, maybe that wasn't a good idea? You know, not just committing the crime, but committing the crime, posting it, even if it's on Snapchat, it does not go away, putting a hashtag to it, even tagging a location as they tag a body. You know, like, what role does that play for you and your team, and even law enforcement across the board, as you're investigating and creating profiles? Oh yeah, social media is a huge thing. It's a big investigative piece for us, because people are on there filming themselves breaking into cars, filming themselves doing drive-by shootings, filming themselves shooting up in the air. You know, we got New Year's Eve coming up and celebration of the holidays. People out there just shooting guns in the air. Those bullets have to come down. You know, they got to come down somewhere, and they don't have names on them. Right. Very dangerous. Yeah. Very, very dangerous. Whenever you talk about just general safety tips, a lot of families
We may be traveling and we don't think about how much social media can play a role for us while we're traveling. We're posting in real time that we're not at home. We're posting in real time that, hey, we're leaving our home unattended. We may have X, Y, and Z in our house. We're showing the Christmas gifts that we get. How much of a safety precaution is it for us to start thinking ahead and saying, you know what, maybe we're not just showing our joy, but we're setting ourselves up.
Yeah, so big time. The vacation pictures can wait. That's what we teach women's self-defense classes several times throughout the year. Have one coming up in the first quarter, so I have to make sure you wear that, and we'll have to push that out.
Yeah, I'm coming. Let's go.
Our citizens academies, and we talk about, hey, wait and push those vacation pictures till you get back home. You don't know who's looking at it. You don't know who might be sharing it. And now you're just saying, hey, I'm gone. There's a lot of small things like that, things that you put on your car. Drives me crazy when I'm driving around and I see a car and there's a mom and 3 little kids. Well, hey, now you're telling me, there's no man in the picture and it's just you and 3 kids. I can just follow you to your house.
I didn't even think of it that way.
Just all kind of little small things like that you have to be aware of, especially nowadays.
Yeah. You know what else I've been seeing? A big trend of people putting their hashtags and @ signs on their cars. I guess they're a part of a car club. It's just, advertising could be one thing, or saying that if you want to be a part of the car club. But now people may be like, I really like that car. Let me go ahead and follow you and show up wherever you're going. And now I have a new car.
Yeah.
And we're unsuspecting. We don't expect people to do things like that. But in today's climate, here we are.
Yeah, exactly. The social media is a huge thing. It's made the world a lot smaller, where people can get in touch and keep track of each other a lot easier. But there's a lot of misspread of misinformation on there. Oversharing by people, like we talked about, and it's better just to kind of keep wraps on that.
The oversharing. You know what? I feel seen. Don't do that to me. that was personal. I felt that. Okay, Chief, you're right. But whenever we talk about all of the oversharing of things that you have going on within your department, let's talk about some of the elements that can get us employed. Because I'm here for a check. Let's get a bag. And recruitment is big, especially when you're looking for the right people to come and be a part of the team. What are some of the things that you look for as you're building out your team? Yeah,
so of course we're always hiring for our police officer position. We have academy starting in January that it's too late to apply for that, of course. It's just another week, 2 weeks away, but it'll be another one starting in July. We have sign-on bonus that's going on right now through the state. But if you don't want to be a police officer, but you still want to help out in the community, we have a lot of other positions available. We have our dispatchers, we have our CIU, criminal information unit, fingerprints, a lot of other things that are available, crime analysts, crime statisticians, a lot of other ways that you can get involved. And we have on Facebook talking about social media.
Yeah.
Right? We're on social media. We got to do our brand, but you can go to our social media. We have our regular Baton Rouge Police Department page, and we also have a recruiting page as well.
Absolutely. And for the dispatchers, that's like the first line of defense. We see now on social media some of the calls that may be played back, and people can say, okay, you know what, dispatcher really handled this call well, or wow, they need to go back to some more training. Because when you say hello 911, what is your emergency? You have absolutely no idea what is about to come across on the other end of this phone. That very well could change your life forever. Yes. Like, what does that look like? The temperament for that person, or the training for the person that may be watching, may be listening, and say, you know what, I really think that I can handle this.
Yeah, so our dispatchers go, kind of a same interview process as our officers. Mm-hmm. Same kind of background checks, all that kind of stuff. And then once they get hired, training atmosphere, they actually in the classroom, scenarios, all that kind of stuff before we put them on the floor. And you're right, you never know what that next, it might just be a loud music complaint or a little one car minor crash, or it could be somebody screaming about shots being fired and they have to go to action. Or they're hearing our officers key up in a vehicle pursuit and they're having to coordinate with the officers and help set up perimeters and all that kind of stuff. So it could be a very high adrenaline job. They're in there, and we like to take care of our dispatchers.
Yeah.
For sure.
And of course,
they're
it's
kind
big.
of the unseen heroes.
Yeah. And thank you for your service and for volunteering to be that voice on the other side of that line, because chances are they can either push you over the edge or pull you off of the limb, one way or the other. And that's a lot. What you and your team do, you can't unplug from that. There is no on and off switch. And now everybody's really harping on the mental health, because we have to find ways to tap in before we tap out. in real life. What does that look like for law enforcement with all of the things that's going on, everything that's piling up, and the level of expectancies that we have? But how do you find that happy medium for yourself and for your officers?
Ooh, it's hard because especially right now that we're so shorthanded. It's not a secret that we're very short staffed, and so we're asking our officers to do more with less.
Yeah.
To work more hours, to work overtime, and so that brings them away from their family. That keeps them running and gunning, and they're constantly having to change hats from going to this call to this call to this call. That officer, a lot of people don't realize that officer putting a tourniquet on somebody, treating a gunshot victim, they wash their hands and then immediately go and handle a loud music complaint.
Yeah.
Right? There's no really downtime. So what we have to do is, especially as chief and administration, is really have those wellness checks and check in on our officers. We have officers that's their full-time job is wellness, and we're doing a lot. We launched an app for our officers, wellness check app for mental wellness, and then just recently we redid our gym at headquarters, hired a full-time physical trainer, fitness coach. So also because I think the body kind of goes with the mind,
Absolutely.
good mental and physical health. So all our employees have access to that as well. Diet planning and just working out and staying in shape.
'Tis the
Rehabbing,
season.
all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. You know what? That's big, especially when you start talking about the rehab, because once you're hurt and you're trying to come back to it, that's mental more than anything. Now the body is telling you, yeah, we have found our limits. Now what are we going to do?
For sure.
And it's all about, did you get your steps in today? Mental, physical, spiritual. I'm going through the little steps right now, trying to get myself together, because it's just a lot whenever it comes across your desk and you're trying your best to be at your best. And you're human. So it takes those times. So we just take this moment to say thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your team. And if you see an officer today, pay it forward, even if it's a cup of coffee or just a simple thank you, because that's a tough decision to get up every single day and go out there to serve and to protect others in their time of need, not knowing what that need even looks like.
Yeah, that's nothing for somebody in the community to say thank you to an officer, but you do not know what that means to that officer, because you don't know what they've been going through that day or that week, or what kind of time they might have just made a traffic stop and got cursed up and down by somebody. Yeah. So if they see somebody else then is saying thank you, it is just a huge pick up for that officer. And so the more that we can get of that, the better.
Random acts of kindness, we're here for it. There's no secret that here in the capital city, there's been an adjustment, a major adjustment. We have a new mayor president-elect that is now taking term, Mayor President Sid Edwards. And under his tenure, what is the vision for your department? Have you had those conversations yet? What should we expect as a cohesive piece for EBR?
Yeah, so I think the very first thing just to know is that Baton Rouge Police Department is going to be here serving the community just like we always have. My conversations with our mayor president-elect, I was able to sit down with them a week ago and have about 2.5 hour conversation with them. Very much number one priority is public safety. Yeah. All public safety, police, fire, all that, giving more resources, trying to hire more officers, trying to get crime down. Big things, coming as a coach, he's looking kind of the whole picture, front side, back side. How can we do this together? And looking forward to what next year is going to bring.
There it is. It's going to be an eventful year, but we're going to have this on the right side of the track. Dear 2025, if you had a goal for it, what does that look like for Chief Morse? Dear 2025.
Yeah, so I actually had this conversation last night with some family. We were talking about, hey, what's 2025 going to look like? And, what are your goals and all that kind of stuff? For me, it's going to be, I said, time management and balancing personal work, family life, and, all of those three categories, and doing a better job of that. My big thing is just that, I'm just now about to hit a year stride as being chief.
Yeah, so congratulations.
Got my feet underneath me, and it's just getting that balance of all three things going at once.
Absolutely. And this is an extension of your office. So whenever you have anything going on, if there's a message that you need to get across, if it's recruitment that we're doing, I'm all about the loan ads. I'm trying to help you get this job. So you just let us know. You pull up on me, and we do have our Ask the Chief. They can log on to BRPD.com. And I encourage all law enforcement to open that line of communication because it is important. And then once we see you in the community, you're asking us all these questions. It's more so of us having a conversation with a friend because we know that we can trust you. We know that your work is not just a job. It is a passion. It is indeed a calling. And we're here better together.
I appreciate that. I got 3 kind of PSAs as we go, if you don't mind.
Let's do it.
Especially with it being the holiday season. First, we have a safe transaction zone at Baton Rouge Police Department headquarters, right there at Airline in Florida. In our parking lot, there's a big sign, cameras, lights. It's recorded 24/7. So if you're meeting somebody up on Facebook Marketplace to do a purchase, do that sale or whatever, have them meet you there. If they're not willing to meet you there, and maybe there's something shady.
I like
right?
that.
So kind of cut down on some of those robberies and those thefts that we've seen. There's also a new law that has made stealing stuff off the porches being a felony, regardless of what that thing was or how much. Before it had to be $1,000 value, but now just that simple act of doing that theft off the front porch of a package is an automatic felony now in the state of Louisiana. So let that be known to people out there. And then when it comes to the guns, we have the new concealed carry law that went into effect with the new governor. But that I just want to make sure everybody is aware that does not apply to permitted events. So if you're going to a parade, if you're going downtown for 4th of July or for the New Year's fireworks or any kind of permitted event that's going on, you're not allowed to carry a firearm. You can be arrested for having a gun in those permitted event areas.
And that is great information to know. See, that's why I need you in here. Come tell us all the good stuff.
I appreciate you giving me the space to let me say it out loud.
Absolutely. And if I don't see you back, I'm coming around the corner. Chief, it's me. Come outside. We need to talk. I know you have more work to do, so I'm going to let you chase the sun or let the sun chase you. But either way, get after it. I love you, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it, Chief.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.